which had seen close to 500 million years of evolution. And these races were scattered across many galaxies. Their missions became elementary as many star systems did not benefit the early footholds for the jump-starting of life. They had achieved the technological power to move stars, realign planetary bodies, change their rotation and orbits, and reset entire star systems to favor life. And only now do we know them as the Founders. By now, the Founders had moved wide enough through the galaxy that they had encountered what seemed to be a fabric of finely threaded gravitational connection channels. These formed quite an array of network lines and proved to be expeditious to traveling directly to certain quadrants and systems throughout the galaxy. With this came vast advances in transportation technology, and this became very valuable in the scale of time. Because of the time which had been required for the exoforming of the planets, an entirely new and more efficient methodology would have to be developed. All of the Founder ships already had incredibly sophisticated onboard laboratories which could be employed for several reasons. So, due to the lengthy amount of time needed to exoform these planets, it became time to develop a new aid in order to alleviate Founder participation in this exoforming process. Several fleets of Founder ships joined in the effort to develop an entirely new protocol for this exoforming, and in a fair time had developed what was to become the most efficient universal process for this mechanism. A nanorobotic, particle-based, self-replicating artificial intelligent fluid operating into thousands of programmed algorithmic aspects for all the potential phases of logical exoform directions. Once the targeted body had the proper balance of this fluid introduced into the planetary matrix, the black fluid began replicating, and each of the pre-programmed segments started their assigned building blocks at both the atomic as well as the molecular levels depending on assignment. This would produce changes in atmosphere, soil enrichment of the planetary compound base, solidifying of multiple minerals, metals, liquids, and gases, all for the stability of the planet's surface and the potential for life form development. In some cases, simple plants were initiated to begin the process of atmospheric stability, and where applicable, even water was very simply produced in varying degrees up to massive lakes and oceans. This too would aid in the stabilization of the atmosphere and provide a multiformity of future diversification. Once the fluid had completed its tasks, it would self-deactivate and become part of the planet content, and a new self-generating planet would be created. The followers had also started a new process seemingly across the entire range of mining races. Huge freighters were being deployed to pick up the factory ship materials and return them to homeworld so that the mining could continue uninterrupted. There seemed to be a constant in targeted mining which would include the universal base substances: cesium, barium, titanium, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc, silver, tungsten, platinum, gold, mercury, iridium, aluminum, silicon, arsenic, uranium, and plutonium. Obviously, the rarer materials were of the highest value and focus. But due to the rarity of certain materials, some of the mining races were beginning to develop somewhat of a paranoia because of their stature among other races. The development of protective fighter ships were beginning to be deployed as well, and it was because of the appearance of an unknown race. They did not come to necessarily mine, as it appears this was more territorial. The initial skirmishes were fairly simple and straightforward, though very soon would begin to escalate. They seemed more interested in destroying the surface-based equipment rather than the factory ships. As the warfare began to proliferate, It also saw the introduction of the very first atomics. Even some of the lesser races were nipping at the heels of the targeted miners, and this too provoked much more widespread confrontation. In a fair amount of time, we began to see the development of more widespread war fleets. Moving through the galaxy had become easier with discovery of the star lane network. The founders had also noticed one particular pathway which strangely led to a far-off system towards a distant and unknown sector of the galaxy. It was here that even more astounding discoveries were to be made. In this system, all of the planets were tightly packed into a close orbital well of the local stars. This configuration also appeared to possess a gravitational anomaly, which caused the star lane to end here as well. Within this system, they also found one of the single largest solid body mass planets which had ever been seen, even dwarfing some of the gas giants. If left to develop over more time, This system would eventually tear itself apart in a massive collapse of all of the planets and a heretofore unknown effect to the stars, potentially ending in an apocalyptic supernova. Many things were needed to be done here, and a call went out to several founder fleets for a unique council meeting. What they determined here would, over a vast course of time, finally lead to the star system we all know very well.